Hello, sports fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And today I'm going to do a recap of the college football season that I'm doing, where I'm taking SU through a college football season with 9 other select teams that I chose of my own instead of doing like the regular NCAA, the real life NCAA. So if you missed any of the previous videos, you might want to go back and check out a couple of them. I do televise the games every once in a while, and I recently televised the 7th game of the season, which was an SU win. I believe we won that 20-16 over Arkansas State. And so here I got my standings board, and you can see I got my Navy jersey on. I couldn't find my Syracuse stuff, but you know, Navy is in the league, right? They're in the North. So anyway, you can see I got my standings board here. This is the North Division, and as you can see, Syracuse is 7-0. They are the only undefeated team in the league. And we are followed very closely by the Army Golden Knights at 6-1, and Boston College, the Boston College Eagles, are also 6-1, and then the Navy Midshipmen are 4-3 and still in the race. They're still technically in it, even though they're 3 games behind Syracuse. They're only 2 games behind Boston College and Army, so we'll see how their schedule plays out. Maybe they still have to play those two. I'm not even sure offhand. And then we got Bucknell 0-7. Bucknell pretty much, they're done. Their season's over. They're just playing out the string. And then you can see over here in the South, the other division. The other division is also very close, although the top team there is Eastern Carolina University, and they are 4-3. And then they are followed closely by Arkansas State and Maryland, who are both 3-4. And then Charlotte at 1-6, and Louisiana Tech also at 1-6. I would say that those two are out of it too, because Bucknell is out of it and they're 0-7. But Bucknell is 0-7 in a division where the leader is 7-0, and Charlotte and Louisiana Tech are 1-6 in a division where the division leader is only 4-3. So they're still technically in it, I would say. So now we've got a listing of our Heisman hopefuls here. And this list is starting to get whittled down a little bit as the weeks go on. As you can see, for Syracuse, we've got Eric Dungy, the quarterback. He has 1,521 yards passing. He has a 65.5% completion rate. He's thrown for 19 touchdowns, and he only has 1 interception. And he's also rushed for 338 yards and 4 additional touchdowns there. So he's got a good Heisman. He's making a good Heisman case himself right there. And then we got the running back for Syracuse, Mo Neal, 521 yards, rushing 5 touchdowns, and he also has 15 receptions for 127 yards. Probably he's really not a Heisman hopeful, and he may fall off the list after the next, in the next update video. I'm not sure how many more games that'll be, but we'll see. Then you got Army, and they've got Woolfolk, their quarterback, I believe, the running back. I think this is Darnell Woolfolk, their running back. He has 905 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. Then Boston College has Anthony Brown. He's their quarterback. He's passed for 1,399 yards and 15 touchdowns. And then they have Kobe White with 30 receptions for 513 yards and 5 touchdowns. So not really sure how much of a case there's really could be made for those Boston College players, but they're the best players so far on Boston College, so we'll go with it. And then Navy has Malcolm Perry, And he's a running back on Navy, and he has 103 rushes for 981 yards and 11 touchdowns. So over here in the South, we have ECU has their quarterback, Holton Ehlers, with 1,679 yards passing and 13 touchdowns, and a 63% completion rate. And then they also have Blake Prohl, who has 29 receptions for 346 yards and 5 touchdowns. Then Arkansas State has Justice Hansen, their quarterback, with 1,879 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and it looks like 9 interceptions. So over on this side of the league, the quarterbacks, you'll notice when I do have a quarterback as a Heisman hopeful, they seem to throw a lot of interceptions, whereas in the North, the quarterbacks generally don't. They also have Marcel Murray, who has 707 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns, and Kirk Merritt, a receiver on the team, with 43 receptions for 501 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then there's Maryland, and Maryland has Anthony McFarland. I think he is a running back for the team, and he has 95 rushes for 798 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown. Then you got Charlotte. Charlotte has Benny LeMay with 114 rushes for 686 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 7 receptions for 57 yards and an additional touchdown. And then we have Louisiana Tech. And let me get down here so I can read this. You got Louisiana Tech, who has Jamar Smith, their quarterback, with 1,814 yards and 13 touchdowns. But again, we can see 11 interceptions. Or maybe you can't see that. Maybe it's out of the screen. And then there's Jacquees Darcy, who has 708 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. And then Ted Veal, who has 42 receptions for 545 yards and 4 touchdowns. So those are the Heisman hopefuls. These are the standings so far. 7 games in to our season. I will be going to Las Vegas on vacation next week. Not sure if I'll be doing any videos there, but I won't be doing any college games, any seasonal college games or season updates next week, because I think at 7 weeks, I think we're at least 1 week, maybe even 2 ahead of real life. So I kind of want to, throttle it back a little bit and run along with the actual college football season. So I think I'll take at least a week off before we play the next game. And Syracuse's next game is against Charlotte, and as you can see, Charlotte is 1-6, so that may not be a very difficult game for us. In fact, really, our schedule, Syracuse's schedule, is pretty soft for the rest of the season. The only team we play of any note is Boston College, and that's the last game of the season. But we play Charlotte twice more. We play Maryland one more time. And I'm not sure who else. But anyway, that's 3 of the games that are remaining on the schedule. Charlotte twice, Maryland once, and Boston College once. And so there's only one other team in there. I can't think of who. I don't remember who it is. But in fact, I think it's Louisiana Tech. So Louisiana Tech at 1-6 as well. So the schedule for Syracuse from here on out, except the last game of the season, is against soft competition, and we're already 7-0. So, but we do have Boston College and Army right on our butts, and they're at 6-1. So that game against Boston College could be for the North Division title. It could very well be for the North Division title. And to see who goes to play in the championship against the South, because that's how I'm going to run it. It's going to just be a one championship game, the South winner against the North winner. And if there's a tie, I don't know how I'll figure it out. I'll think about that. As my father used to say, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So anyway, hope you liked that video. If you did, you know the drill. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you want to leave a comment. And then here's my contact information if you want to contact me on Twitter or Instagram. And there's my email right there at the bottom. Didn't mean to cover it up. But anyway, right now, it's Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.